Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. You're watching live at 9:45 and I've seen a bunch of names pop up. Mark, I kind of agree with you. I looked into a little bit of stuff to make my intros a little better, but I just didn't get there. I ran out of time. I've got a bunch of things going on in my personal life as well as the RC stuff, so it just didn't happen for now. Hopefully in the future I'll be making that happen. I see a bunch of people popping up some cool stuff here and there all over Facebook, and I'm pretty excited to try out some new things here and there. So I haven't seen the one person, the man of the hour, who is going to be interviewed pop in yet. But again, things were running a little slow when I first fired up what's going on with Facebook. So let me do my intro real quick and we'll see what I can't do about getting Josh in and what's going on. So if you haven't watched Live at 9:45, I'm Adam VanOrd. I run Live at 9:45 and I interview some of the more influential people in the hobby and try to just pick out anybody I can think of that I think you might want to hear their story. And so far that's worked out fairly well, and I plan to continue to do so, and hopefully it will continue to draw people in here and there, and you'll watch and learn cool stuff about the people who are out there. Perfect, Scott, you said he's here. That's awesome. Josh, if you are here, can you please hit the add thing so that I can see you and pull you in just a minute. Additionally, a couple things I want to talk about with what's going on here at the beginning of the video. I'm trying something a little new this week. I am going to do a shameless plug. Over on my website, I have 20% off code going on. The code is live, so if you want to go check out the site, it's VanOrdCustoms.com. Anything on the site right now is 20% off. That includes the scale garage banners, backdrops, all of that stuff. So that's something new and different. Additionally, I do have Josh on tonight. Josh is the guy that runs Extreme Scale Performance. He has a pretty big following on YouTube, if I must say so, and I'm excited to have a chat with him. So I will work at getting him in, and we'll kind of get this thing rolling. All right, there we go. All right. Hopefully. Hey, how's it going?
What's up, brother? I'm here, man. I wasn't sure if it was going to work or not. It was acting a little funny for a second.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. It never fails. Run a test, do this, do that, whatever it is, there's always some glitch every time. So we just roll with it and make it happen.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
All right. So for the people out there who may or may not know you, let's start this thing off with telling us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Josh. I'm a old man that likes to play with toy trucks. I was born here in Oregon, and I traveled a lot growing up, so got to see a lot of things.
All right, that's awesome. How long have you been in the RC hobby?
Honestly, I've been doing it most of my life, so it's really. I was trying to figure out how to turn off notifications there, but it's really been a part of my life pretty much as long as I can remember, man. I think my first memory goes back to, like, I don't know, I think getting like a Midnight Pumpkin or something, or yeah, I forget. No, maybe it's a Tycho Bandit. I think the Tycho Bandit was my first one, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's been a minute for sure. So I'm gonna pause for just a second because I see a whole bunch of people have joined. Just so you know, guys, we're not ignoring you in the comments. We will go back and answer via text afterwards. We just try to keep the flow going and keep the interview going in a direction that is interview centric. And we'll go from there. So, Josh, my next question to you, and I'm going to just pose it to everybody, actually, is what got you into this hobby, or who got you into this hobby? Where did it start?
Just into RC in general, or the scale side of it?
Let's go with the scale side of it.
Let's see. There's always kind of been an itch there to go scale, even though I didn't realize it, because even, my T-Maxes and stuff like that back in the day, I used to put hard bodies on them. People always kind of thought that was weird, but I like to try to make them look like monster trucks and things, mud trucks and stuff. So I I don't know. I think my first real entry into the scale world would be when I started my YouTube channel, and I got inspired from watching other YouTube videos. There wasn't really many people here in the States that were throwing down. There were, a handful of guys for sure, but there wasn't a lot of YouTube videos from the States at that time. So most of my viewing went to like the UK and overseas, where they've been doing this stuff a little bit longer. And there was a guy that had a video of a Jeep Cherokee hardbody back in 2007, and that was it. That's all it took. I saw the guy's videos, and he was going into this mud hole, and it was so low geared and just so like. At the time, I had just bought my first Jeep, and so it was game over. I had to build a Jeep.
Gotcha. That makes perfect sense. It definitely is a big draw when you can tie it into like the one size vehicles and stuff too.
Yeah.
If you weren't in RC, what would your hobby of choice be?
I was trying to think about that earlier because I was kind of browsing through the questions there, and
Yeah.
it's hard to put my finger on one thing. I like to do a lot of stuff, pretty much anything motorsports related. I like to drive. A lot of people just know me from making videos and driving RC trucks, but before that, I like to drive. I never really had the opportunity to do any professional driving, in the motorsports world, but I don't want to inspire any kids to do any stupid stuff either, but I got my seat time in, and I like to drift. I like to drag race. I like rally racing. It was my original passion. I used to watch WRC videos when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was born on a ranch in John Day with lots of gravel roads. So that's, I'd steal the family cars and go just put in work, man. That's how I got the addiction for driving, I guess.
Fair.
And then, well, outside of driving, I want to say there's another thing too, probably, and that's my music. Before I got into this stuff at all, I was heavy into music, into hip hop. I still am. I love it a lot. I don't produce any music anymore, but it's an outlet for me. So I definitely have a deep appreciation for music, not just hip hop, soul music, and 80s synth wave and new electronic music, and just there's so many different things I like. There's some rock I like, I'll always throw down for some Metallica, which throws some people off, but I respect art, and I respect talent, and I listen to a lot of different stuff. I hate country though. Don't ever play no country around me, please.
That's
no fit.
Someone always has like one genre where they're like, all right, that one can just kind of go this way. I'll pass on that.
Can't handle it, man. I had to listen to it on the bus when I was a kid all the time, and it was like torture.
My next question is, do you prefer big tires or small tires?
I'm a small tire guy, but it's not. I can't really say I'm a small tire or big tire. I'm a proportionate type of guy. So the tire size needs to be proportionate to the vehicle and the purpose of the build. So
yeah.
If you're building a street truck, then you should have something that looks like some 31s or some 33s or something you could still street, and then if you're running a mud truck, you should have something that looks like some real mud tires, and so on and so forth. You're running a rock bouncer or whatever, go bigger, it's just all relevant to the proportions of the, the body and everything. So, I mean, there's no right or wrong, I would say, in that answer, but like, if I had to say what out of all my stuff, I have mainly small tire stuff just because I like to do trail, like weekend trail warrior type builds, stuff that can still be either daily driven or, maybe passes a street legal vehicle.
You might be able to drive it like from your house to the trail if you live within a mile.
Yeah, if you're close enough, the cops don't see you.
Brushed or brushless?
I'm a brushless guy these days. The innovations there, the technology's there. You get such amazing control. Many people know I'm sponsored by Holmes Hobbies, and so I have the opportunity to use a lot of different setups and do a lot of different comparisons and things of that nature. And there's never going to be a replacement for brushed. There's just a certain feel to it that you just can't get any other way. So I'll always have brushed rigs for sure, but my day-to-day rigs, like the stuff I drive the most, is usually going to be brushless, mainly for the reliability.
Yeah.
I don't like rebuilding brushed motors all the time.
I don't like getting all the way in there to the motors. So usually it's in the center of your truck. And if you build a really scale truck, man, you got layer after layer to tear apart to get in just to change or work on the motor.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir. You are correct.
reliability is always a plus in that department for me.
Yeah.
What do you like most about the scale RC like portion of this hobby?
Community, for sure. Hands down, it's community. Just knowing that it doesn't really matter who you are, or where you're from, or what you do in life, what your background is, or anything. You can get into scale RC and know that within minutes you're probably gonna make some friends. And oh yes, hold on, I got coffee delivery. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I love the coffee
Yes.
delivery.
Oh yeah, this is heaven right here. All right. So but it's definitely a community thing for me. I don't know, man. I'm not much of a. If people don't get a chance to talk to me first, a lot of times they'll have a impression of me that doesn't really suit who I am. So a lot of people make they get their impression of somebody within the first like 30 seconds or so, and if
Yeah.
they just looking at me on camera, or they don't actually talk to me or something like that, or just see my picture or whatever, or see me walking through an event. There's a lot of assumptions.
Mm-hmm. I follow you. Uh-oh. Did you pause out on everybody's end or just my end here? All right, guys, can you still hear me and not Josh, or can you just hear... So I know what to do to... Oh, there we go. So it kicked him out. Real quick, while he comes back in, I will just kind of do my thing and talk a little bit about what's coming up in the future. It says everybody. Oh, the coffee got him. So I will talk a little bit about what's coming up in the future. I have Lee Hicks coming up on next week, May 3rd. And Mike Loman is May 10th. Mike is, his collection is intense. That's saying it like in the least intense way I can. It's just gigantic. And then Eddie Goodrich on the 17th. I'm also in talks with several different people. Perfect Josh is back. I'll bring him in. I'm in talks with several different people, and I owe a shout out to Steven Speakman for posing a question on the page. Whoops. Why won't it let me bring? Probably because he just got in. Steven Speakman for posing a question on the page about who people would want to see and so on and so forth. Sorry guys, I'm trying to do two things at once. Not my best task. And I definitely owe him a thank you because it popped up a lot of cool people that people were interested in. Hey, you're back.
Awesome. Oh, I'm sorry about that, man. I don't know what happened.
I know.
It just all of a sudden, boom.
Like I said, it never fails. It always throws some kind of curveball. It always does. So, we'll just fill some time, bring you back, and we're good to go. So I believe we were talking about what you like most about the hobby and so on and so forth.
Yeah, it's just the community life, the community aspect. Oh, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it's, for me is when I first got into it, I didn't have anybody to do it with. I lived in Hawaii, and there was nobody into it at the time, so I just did it by myself. So
Right.
Trying to get people into it was really hard. And once this whole thing started taking off with events and stuff like that, and I moved back here to Oregon, Paul, that's when things started to change. I got a job at the hobby shop, and these guys, there's like 4 or 5 local guys that were trying to get a group going, and they asked me to be a part of it and to help push that. And I did, and everything kind of changed at that point. So for me, it's about the community, because even in a situation where I didn't know anybody at all, I was still able to go in, and simply because I've got an RC truck similar to theirs, we're able to have a connecting point and start talking and creating a relationship. And from that point, you know, other people come in, and next thing you know,
Uh-oh, we're glitching again.
it is still a rough connection. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
You're back though, so we're good. Man, that coffee is getting us. But the number 9 here.
Oh, sorry, man. Am I like slurping on here too, dude?
No. Somebody made a joke like that the coffee killed the connection, so I was just referencing back to that.
I hope it didn't. I'm kind of wondering what's going on right now because I've been testing it all day and it's been great.
Right.
So I'm not sure, man.
Never fails. But anyone that might not know you or might not follow your stuff probably doesn't know that you're I believe at this point like full-time working in videography and for the most part off of YouTube itself. What got you started in making YouTube videos and what led you down that path?
It's just complete accident, really. I mean, I can't say accident. I did everything on purpose, but I didn't do it with the intention of making it a career choice or anything. I didn't even know I could make any money doing this. So definitely wasn't about that. It was just accidental in the fact that when I built my first RC truck back in Hawaii, I wanted to show somebody. And like I said, there was nobody out there that was into it. So I showed all my friends. Like, if you came to my house in Hawaii, chances are I forced you to watch my RC videos like over and over. Like there's a very good chance that you were forced to just sit there and watch my very first RC videos, which were really, really rough to watch over and over because I was so excited about them myself and that I just wanted to show people and nobody cared. And and so I was like, well, you know, forget you guys. I'm going to show my family back in Oregon, you know? And so I put them on YouTube. That way I could show my cousin, my little brother, and everybody back in Oregon. And apparently that was the spot to put them because my first video got like 20,000 views in like a couple of weeks or something. And that was unheard of back then, you know? And so it was inspiring for me. It was the first time I had done something other than rapping, you know, or other bad, like other things that I would consider not so positive in life, that got me positive attention, you know, positive feedback. And so it was really inspiring, you know, and it showed me that I wasn't alone in the world. There's other people out there that kind of nerded out on that stuff too. So yeah, it was kind of nice.
Awesome. So I just have to say, I can totally relate to like showing all of your friends and your friends being like, what do you even think?
I'm the worst.
they're like, okay, that's real cool. But no, like finding the people online and the community aspect of it and like showing the RC community is kind of like, that's what got me into doing a lot of the like more like paying more attention in Facebook, paying more attention on the forums and like posting stuff because there wasn't people in my area to talk to. Like I've grown it a little bit, but still, it's nice to get that feedback.
Yeah, it's nice when there's somebody to relate to, you know?
So what was your job, your profession before you became a YouTube video creator?
Oh, there's a long list. I did all kinds of stuff, man. It was kind of a slow start to the YouTube thing anyways, because I did it for years and years just as a hobby, you know? The video was like just an extension of the RC hobby to me. So just another way for me to express myself. And at the time I had just quit rapping. So like, I don't want to say I quit rapping. I still rap for fun, just kind of playing around here and there. I'll write stuff when I feel I got something to express, but I quit doing it with the intention of trying to go somewhere with it. And so that became a new outlet for me to express my creativity, I guess. And my mom, when I was a kid, was an artist, so I always drew and things like that. I used to draw lowriders and like, you know, graffiti and stuff when I was a kid. So that was like, I don't know, just a new outlet for me. Yeah, I don't even remember what the question was. I just started talking on something right there.
What you did before you were working as YouTube content.
Okay, yeah, so that's where I was going with that. So it was a gradual onset. So in the meantime, I did all kinds of things. Yeah, I was a garbage man. I was a tour guide in Hawaii. I was a car salesman. I was a wildland firefighter. I was a mechanic at a hot rod shop. That was actually an awesome job. I got to build cars that cost more than houses. I don't know why they let me touch those, but it was awesome. Stereo installer. I have a mobile electronics certification, so I went to school to install stereos and stuff like that. And then what else I did? I was a ranch hand. I was all kinds of stuff, man. It was all fun, man. I like the learning experiences. I like to see what life has to offer, and all that stuff it all played a role in me getting to where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Definitely.
I even flipped burgers. I was a sandwich artist.
There you go. An artiste. You have a segment titled on your YouTube section called Camping with Coleman, and I don't know if I just missed it somewhere along the way, and you always sign in as Josh, aka Coleman. Where did the name Coleman come from?
Yes, that's inside information.
Oh,
brother.
I see.
That's...
Okay, so it's a secret that no one can know.
That's a handful of people know. There's a handful of people out there that know where it came from. It's just a nickname the homies gave me, and I just ran with it. I don't know, it just made sense for me. There is some real meaning behind it, and it actually does make really good sense. But
I got you. All right, next question. How many RC trucks do you currently have in your collection?
Oh man, like 30 something, I think, give or take a little bit. Definitely like 30 something. I don't know the exact number because I don't remember. I just got some more too, honestly, so I could be off. It's like 30, probably 33, we'll say 34 maybe. I just broke 30. I know that.
So yeah, I just saw the Yeti video popping up all over the place. So that's a good one. Go check that out.
Ah, you saw that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So the next question I have is you kind of have a large-ish YouTube portfolio going on. I mean, you have several segments going on, and so on and so forth. How long have you been shooting the videos? Like, we kind of touched on that, but like, when did you actually start taking it seriously?
Well, I started 10 years ago, but I started taking like the creation of the video aspect of it serious right off the bat. I just had no clue what I was doing.
Right.
But I wanted to do good, right off the bat. That was just like music or anything else driving. I always want to try to be the best I can be at whatever I'm doing. So I don't really care if I'm better than other people. I want everybody to be their best. But for me, it's very important that I feel I'm doing the best I can. And that turned out to be a long learning curve. So, but seriously, I started taking it like real serious when I started doing it full time. Which was about 4 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
About right around 4 years ago. I came back from a vacation to Hawaii and wasn't getting along with my boss no more, and I felt that I came to the conclusion that I had been spending my life helping other people's dreams become a reality and not my own. And so that was a turning point for me. I realized it was making me miserable. I was pissed off. I was in Hawaii. I got it all on camera, actually, believe it or not. It was not that anyone really cares about that, but it was just I was vlogging in Hawaii, and I was just practicing. It was before vlogging was really popular, and I was just trying to get used to being on camera. And so I was vlogging while we were heading to the secret beach, and my boss called me, and he knew I was on vacation, but they just kept calling me, and they kept bugging me, and I was actually the boss of the company. He's the owner of the company, and he just kept bugging me, man, and just laying his problems on me and telling me about everything I'm going to have to fix for him when I get back, and I kept thinking about it, and then I'm sitting there picturing what he's actually doing with his time, and it just wasn't sitting correct. So that was it. And I was like, I'll do it when we get back. I'm quitting my job. I told my wife. She's like, what? It's like, I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm over it. And like, this is it. If we're going to either keep doing the same thing, I'm going to keep helping people build up their businesses and then getting, kind of left in the end, it's always just going to be this cycle, or I can take a risk, and I can try to build up my own little thing that I got going here and see if something comes of it. And I feel like if I put the same effort that I put into all these other companies, that I can probably turn this into something, and I can probably make it into a positive, and then my life, our lives, the people around me as well, all will be more positive in return. You know, I won't be the negative person that I always am when I'm going to work for this negative guy. So that was it. That was it, man. I came back and I made a video, and I quit my job on the video, and then I uploaded that video, and I told myself, as soon as this goes live, I'm going down there and quitting. And I sat there and watched it load, you know, like each thing, you know, for hours because I had horrible internet at the time. And as soon as it finished, that was it. I left. I'm done. Yeah, I went down there. I quit. I even teared up, man. I'm a little bit of an emotional guy. I'm a big teddy bear, you know. But I teared up because it's a job that I was passionate about, you know. I really put my heart and soul into it. So I gave everybody a hug and said my goodbyes, and that was it. I dove in head first and realized possibly how big of a mistake that could have been for a while because I was not ready.
That's fair. I think I think that happens with someone when they step outside their comfort zone and they go after something that they weren't necessarily like they think they're ready for it. They are ready for it, but I mean, it's not as safe as the other option. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's always a risk, you know, and the risk is very, very real. Yeah. You know, it's a very real thing, and it should be a main part of your calculations when you were trying to figure out how you're going to get to where you're going. So.
Right. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about some of the stuff you learned along the way here with the YouTube things, and let's talk a little bit about equipment and editing software and things of that nature for people who are maybe just beginning this process or just starting. I mean, when you and I talked the other night for a few minutes, I talked about the fact that I'm trying to focus on my phone, but I know that wasn't the road that you took. And let's talk a little bit about, like, what are some of the essential pieces of equipment that people need to film their RC, and then maybe a little bit of what do you currently use to film what's going on?
Okay. I think before I even get into it, I think it's all depends on a person's inspiration and their desire. Yeah. So you gotta choose what you're after. You know, originality is always key, but influence is always a very important part of growing. So I had a lot of influence. I being a YouTube guy, spent a lot of time on YouTube, and there's a lot of other YouTubers that had nothing to do with RC at all that I've looked up to for influence. So I started with what I had, just like I recommend to anybody. Just grab the closest thing that you have around you that can record any sort of video, and just start with it and get a feel for what you can do. You know, and that's how I'd say to start. I started with a little pink point-and-shoot camera that recorded 15 or 30-second clips. I got that from my wife. I stole it from her, and I bought it for her for her birthday, and then I stole it back when I realized I could make a video with it. So, and then it went from there to cell phones, because I was selling cell phones and stuff for a while, working at Radio Shack, and then from there it went to action cameras and stuff, you know, getting wannabe GoPros for a while until I could afford a GoPro. Right. And then from there it went to hand-me-down handy cams from other friends that were more successful than myself and had cameras. So big shout out to Kobe Randquist. Rapid Rhino RC is his RC stuff. He's not too active with it, but he is an RC guy, and he does make videos from time to time on YouTube. And he owns a production company, and he's an extremely intelligent man, and a great entrepreneur himself, and very influential to me. I'm not sure if he even knows that, but he is definitely. He's just done some very big things. He's had some big accomplishments, and he doesn't brag about it or anything really. He's a humble guy, and I met him doing RC. You know, he was a local guy here for a while, and we wound up on the trails together, and he kicked me down some handy cams, some lights. Actually, I don't know if you guys can see it or not because the way this is, but that big bright light in the background over there, that is one of his lights that he left here for me to use, and never asked for it back. You know, I couldn't be any more grateful. So that type of stuff is always helpful, you know, but not everybody's going to have that. So you just got to use what you have. Eventually I went and bought my own handy cam, and it was a CX330. I still use it, actually. I shot all my Axial Fest movies. A lot of the clips are shot with that, and it's just $100 and something handy cam, you know, and I do that on purpose just to show that it's utilitarian. It's just you use what you can. You know, I could show up at Axial Fest, and I do now. I do show up at Axial Fest, and I bust out a gimbal and stuff like that, and slightly nicer cameras. But I still keep that handy cam on me all the time.
Yeah.
So now I shoot with Sony A6300. I wanted an A6500, but I feel like they're going to come out with a new one here soon. So I'm holding off and saving my money until I can get something slightly better. But Sony mirrorless cameras is my thing right now. I like those.
All right.
Hope that helps as far as cameras go.
Yeah.
And then as far as videography or anything else, I mean, I just use random lights. Like right now, I'm side lit by just a little LED panel, and this mounts on a tripod usually. I take it with me.
Mm-hmm. All right. Another glitch. Yeah, perfect. We're back.
All right. Sorry about that.
Hey, it's cool.
But yeah, you know, I use basic stuff really.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things I found once I started doing this live at 9:45 thing. One of the first comments someone was made was like, "Hey, like you should get a mic," and I was like, "Oh, cool. I'll look for some mics." And then I've just done budget stuff the whole way up through, and it's definitely interesting. Which one's that?
This is a little Rode mic.
Okay.
I like this one because it doesn't. You don't need any external power.
Yeah.
It just powered, you know, from plugging into the camera.
The one,
So I like this one a lot.
the one I'm,
Yeah, pull the sock off.
yeah. So the one I'm using right now is actually like the knockoff of that, and it's like a Boya,
Okay.
the Boya mic or whatever.
Okay.
So it's like $20 cheaper. Yep. It looks identical to that one. So that's
99% of people will never notice an audio difference.
Yeah. So no, I just
Only people like me.
oh, I'm sure. But yeah. So let's talk a little bit.
As I speak from horrible audio, I'm sorry, I don't have my mic plugged in. I should just shut up on that.
So let's talk a little bit about some video editing software. What have you used along the way, and what are you using now, and why that?
I used a lot of stuff, but I started with Windows Movie Maker because that was what was on the computer I had at the time, which was basically a wedding present gift from my mother-in-law. So she helped us buy it. I paid half, she paid half, and we ran to Costco and picked up a computer so I'd have something to play with. And that was a pretty cool starting point for me. It was basic. It's what everyone has. It's free, you know. So I've always been a Windows guy, so I'm sorry to all the Mac users out there. I probably won't be much help there at all. But for me, Windows Movie Maker, and then I tried a bunch of random things like you were speaking of the other night. Power Director, you know, and all that stuff. Some other ones I don't even remember the name of that were just really weird and really bad. And then I used one called Serif Movie Plus X5. It was a weird name, but it's from it was a British one. It was from Great Britain, I guess, or something. But I got it for cheap for like $20 off Craigslist, and that was a good segue into a real, I guess, non-linear type editing program, or linear. I don't know if it's non-linear or linear. I have no formal training in any of this, but for me, that was my first step into like something that could do some professional type things. Right. So I ran with that for a couple of years, and from that point, I went to Sony Vegas Pro 13 was my first one, and then, oh no, I take that back. I went to Adobe Premiere Pro, and I used that from that same guy I was just telling you about, Kobe. He actually brought an editing machine over, and I started working for him, doing editing on the side to help keep the bills paid. Yeah. Because, like I said, I dove into this, you know, with nothing. I literally, so to anybody that wants to dive into the YouTube, talk to me first. It's a challenge. So that helped a lot because I just got a quick crash course from him, and I dove into it and edited some real simple videos from him, and I probably messed them all up, but he didn't say nothing to me. So, and then I went from there. I was inspired to like build a computer. So I took a bunch of crap computers, which I still have on the floor down here, and my old one included, and I started pulling parts and watching YouTube videos and trying to figure out how I could, you know, get the best parts from each one and make a better one. And so I did that a couple of different times. I bought a computer off of my little cousin, that was slightly better, and I did the same thing again, took all the parts and put them together, made one that was slightly better. And then finally, the beginning of last year, when I started making a little bit of money, and thank God for Holmes Hobbies. John Holmes has been a huge help for me. That man has really pushed me to challenge myself and to continue pushing forward. So he was willing to step up behind me and basically give me a raise, and that raise helped me out tremendously. So I was able to finally break over that mark and get my computer parts purchased, and I built my, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right over there. It's my baby sitting back there. And I built that up, and it was my first brand new computer I built myself. And it's a beast, man. I can edit 4K all day, no issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm in it like Bennett. I use Sony Vegas Pro 14 and Adobe Premiere Pro, the whole Adobe suite I have on here. I have I have a really unique way of rendering. I use Resolve sometimes. I use all kinds of stuff, man. I'm all over with it now. I just like to play with things. But Sony Vegas Pro 14 is my most used.
Yeah.
I probably could have said that in the first place.
It's okay though, man. It's nice for people to know that there are a ton of options out there, and what might work really well for you in the moment. Like you just said, like I use Sony Vegas for like most everything, but I don't use it for everything. So you're pulling pieces of parts and things that you know and you like, and that makes perfect sense to me. So yeah.
It's fun.
So I'm going to shift things away from the YouTube stuff for a minute. Wait, actually, it's not. I'm sorry. I read my question wrong. But what is your favorite style of RC video to like shoot, edit, and put out there? Like what sections do you like to do the best? I mean, you have like event coverage, you have the vlog stuff, the Scale Wars thing's like a whole nother animal. What do you like the most?
I like it started as an artistic thing for me, so I gotta say taking it back to my roots is my favorite, even though I don't actually do that very often now, which I'm hoping to get back to real soon, is doing the music videos. I don't really have a label for them, it's like montage videos,
Yeah.
but they're usually like 3 to 6 minutes long, and I've always had a knack for finding really, really good, in my opinion anyways, really good artists out there and working with them to get copyright-free music. That's always been a big struggle for a lot of people on YouTube, is getting music. And I was fortunate because I started in music. I kind of understood how it all worked, and I was able to reach out to artists and make some good connections. And I also use SoundCloud a lot. SoundCloud is a good place to find music if you know how to utilize it properly. It's also a good way to screw yourself, if you don't understand copyright law or how to use their filters properly and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, that's probably my favorite. I love putting the music to it, and really visually I like seeing things that will trick the mind, like where you watch the cars moving and driving, and it's just so realistic looking that you just kind of get lost in the sauce,
Yeah.
Like that's what I like the best.
Right. So I'm going to take a second and pose kind of the similar question to the people who are out there watching, because I haven't posed one to any of you guys for a while, is what type of video do you like to watch? So there's all kinds of things. Like you can do what Josh said, and you do the montage deal, and like you kind of get lost in the driving of the RC. There's vlog stuff, there's how-tos, there's all those options. Like post up what you kind of like, guys. But aside from that, I'm going to shift now, finally, from the YouTube stuff for a second and talk a little bit about what is your favorite RC truck that you have, like, in your collection that you have built?
Man, it's not my best by any means, but my favorite is going to be the yellow Jeep, hands down. Oh, it's a lot of people watching this might not know what I mean by the yellow Jeep, but the yellow Jeep, to those of you that have been following me for a while, they already know, like, Yellow Jeep's it's like legend on my channel. It's the Jeep that helped me become established, around the world, which is really weird. but it really is. It's not my best. It's not my most realistic. It's probably not even my best performing anymore, but it's just, I don't know. I love that thing, dude. It's beat to snot. It's broken everywhere. I never service it. All the bearings are blown out. It's, it's all pigeon-toed, so it drives down the road like it's all cambered out. I need a camber gang sticker for it. It's just the tires are like all rotted out, and I love it. If I had to pick one every time to go to, it'd still probably be that, man.
Nice. It's not always the best one or the perfect one or any of that that's the favorite. Sometimes there's some sentimental value attached to some of this stuff. I don't even know if I put this on the questions. Like, I'm not even referring to them right now, but have you sold any that you let go that, like, you're like, oh, I just want it back?
No, no, I don't sell them ever really. That's the thing. But I have given a couple away, to friends and things like that. And I have done a couple of trades. I traded my buddy my old TF2 that was under the Nissan. Some of you guys watching might remember the Nissan Frontier I built, but I still have the body. But I traded the TF2 to a buddy, Jared, and he makes really cool trailers. And I really wanted one. So, and then no, honestly, there's one that I wish I still had that I don't have, but I didn't sell it and I didn't give it away or anything like that. I threw it in the garbage, and I know it sounds horrible, but it wasn't. I didn't really have a choice. It was a really bad time in my life, and we were forced to move back to the mainland from Hawaii. We were broke, homeless, and nobody would take it because, like I said, in Hawaii, nobody gave a crap about that stuff. Nobody's
Right.
into that, and they didn't see any value in it. It's just a toy, so. I couldn't get nobody to take it, and I didn't have room for it. I couldn't take it on the plane. There was nothing I could do, man, and it went in the garbage. And it's the very first one I ever built, and bro, it crushed me. That crushed me. It was that and my favorite T-Max. Both of them I had to throw in the garbage. Working properly, hard body build in 2007, TCS chassis, full droop setup. Had like so many. Had a New Bright JK hard body back when they were selling for like $240. Like it was great, man. And it was sad to see it go. So if I could have any back, that would probably be the one.
Fair enough, man. That's a rough story of how to get rid of an RC for sure. So who are your influences out there in the scale community that you follow, that you watch, that you're kind of paying attention to what's going on with them? And if you could pick someone else who you think you should, I should have on the show and interview and talk to, who would that be?
There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of good, hardworking, influential people in this community.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to put my finger on just one. I'll try though. Uh, I would have to say, the one person to me, and he's not going to be, he doesn't make crazy videos or do anything like that, and he's not like a big celebrity or a whatever, like everyone always wants to see. To me, he is a real guy. He's like the heart and soul of scale RC to me, and
Right.
he has an amazing story. I'll leave that to him to share with you, and if he feels that he's going to. And it's actually two people, and I'd like to see them on here together. And one, yeah, it's both. I can't give one credit without crediting the other, and that's going to be Elio Deanda and Adam Dean of Two Chain Scalers. Those guys, they work, full-time jobs, and they have families, and they got other things going on, and they still manage to find time for complete strangers, for other people's kids, for events that they're not getting paid to be a part of, for all kinds of stuff. And they put in work. They put in a lot of work. I see it. I watch everybody. I try to pay attention to everybody, and sometimes I open my mouth and talk a little crap. Sometimes I give credit when it's doing. Sometimes I just don't say anything. And those guys, they deserve an insane amount of credit. Especially Elio. I don't even want to talk about it because I'll get emotional, but I would love to see him on here. Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you for
They got a lot to talk about, a lot to show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna be completely straight up, and I don't know either one of those people. So I'm totally going to be researching their stuff because, and that's one of the coolest things that for me, sitting on this side of the camera and doing all these interviews and hearing all the stuff. Like, there's so much that I didn't know that it's
Yeah, there's a lot of things that
blows
happen,
me
man.
away. So
There's a lot of different avenues in this
yeah,
community and different groups, and it's really cool. And I hate that sometimes that creates
yeah,
animosity, you know, because there's always going to be a lack of communication between the group on this side and the group on this side because there's all this stuff between. But I would love to see more people that don't feel like they vibe with other people try to connect. There's some people in this industry that really do not like me at all, like not even a little bit, and I don't care. Like I don't care. You know, I'm the type of guy I'll talk smack right back to you, you know, and then we can go be friends afterwards. Like that's just how I am. And I'll usually, if I see somebody that doesn't like me, I'll approach them and just, you know, try to squash it, man. I just try to let them know like it's most likely a misunderstanding and or a misplaced judgment in character or something of that nature 9 times out of 10. And I see it all the time. People will not like somebody because of a post they read or a video they read or saw, or, you know,
yeah,
like somebody else doesn't like somebody. And I've had people try to get me not to like people, and I understand, but I hate that those differences in communities and the big, you know, distances between everybody's groups and stuff, you know, people in different states and countries, it creates that a little bit. And that's why I like Axial Fest, is because all those people all come to one location. And then they get a chance to see each other face to face and make a real decision. Okay, do I really not like these people? Or maybe I just passed a little judgment and I should just, you know, let's go holler at them and see what's the good. You know, like I love Axial Fest for that. Not to get off track, but
no, you're good.
yeah, it's important to me.
That's like 2 questions away, so we're just going to talk about that one. Do you compete in competitions, and which format do you prefer and why? Which one's your favorite one? So clearly, I would say it's probably Axial Fest. So,
Absolutely.
what's your draw to that? Like, why that one?
Uh, it's the most RC people in one location. It's the most scale RC people in one location. It's a beautiful location. It's fun competition. It's family orientated. It's adult orientated at the same time. It's everything that I love about the hobby all in one location in 1 week. And you know, and it's just amazing. And on top of that, not all of, but a very large portion of my subscribers go there. And so I get to be around all the people that have helped me get to where I'm at and give love back to everybody. And so I don't even drive RC trucks at Axial Fest. Like the most I'll drive an RC, the most that I have been able to drive an RC truck at Axial Fest was back in 2015 with Shane from CKRC. He used to work at CKRC, and me and him and I think Alec Vanderbrink, I'm pretty sure it was Alec, went on a hardcore late night trail run and got in maybe an hour, and that was like the most I've ever ran at Axial Fest. Last year I ran maybe 10 minutes or so, something like that. I drove about 10 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. For me, it's about the people. I show up there, and as soon as I show up, I fire up the cameras, and before I even get there, they're fired up. But as soon as I get there, like for me, I get ready, and then it's just, let's go talk to people. Like, this is the first thing I want to do. I want to go say hi to everybody, hug everybody, check out trucks, dap everybody up, and just do the community thing. Like, I don't know. It's like a family reunion, I guess, every year. And so I get excited. I'm like a kid all over again. And sometimes it gets the best of me. I don't drink enough water, and I don't eat enough food, and I look like I'm going to pass out once a day. So, but I love it, man. I love it so much.
Awesome. So I have to go back to my one question because I like posing this question to people because it's difficult. And so my question is, what is your favorite build out there, truck, whatever it is, that is not yours? I mean, there's so many great ones. So I like to pose the question.
I was trying to think about this earlier because I was reading that, and it's a hard one, and I think I have to settle between like a couple of them. I would say Ooh, man, that's so hard. That is really hard. There is some like there's some really cool trucks out there, but for me, it's not going to be about the best truck that's ever been
Yeah,
built. It's more about the truck that's influenced me
yeah,
personally the most. And one of them is going to be a Tatra 813 Colos, built by some guy in Europe back in like 2007 or 8, and it's all CNC machined. It's got the proper axle and drivetrain set up where it's like a tube with like the axles coming off like this, and it was amazing. It was orange. He had all these videos up for a long time. Then he pulled his whole channel down and then re-uploaded under a different name, and nobody really found him or watched him, but I did. I was looking for it. And so that's one of them. Another one would be Headquake's FC1. I think it's a FC170 build, and his Wagoneer builds. Those are super, super like. Yeah, that's some of the few builds I'd probably pay money to buy myself instead of building. So I like those. And then there's another one I was trying to think of, and I'm struggling. I want to say whose was it? There was another one I really wish I could remember right now. I don't know if it comes back to me, I'll tell you. But there was another one. There was definitely another one that really was like. It stood out to me back in the day, big time.
that's cool. If it pops up through
Yeah,
the rest
dang
of
it,
what's
man,
going
I can't
on,
remember.
if it pops up, just be like, hey, I remember. Do your thing. But
Yeah, no worries, no
my
worries.
next question, I like to pose to people too because it's an interest. I always get a lot of interesting responses. Everybody's kind of similar but different at the same time. Do you prefer the forums or do you prefer Facebook, social media, Instagram, all of that stuff?
I use them both for different things, honestly. The forums, you'll never see me on there hardly. I mean, you can find old posts for me back in the day on most of them, but
Yeah.
I don't use them to post or to show off my builds or anything like that. I use them mainly to get inspired. I really love the Skill Builders Guild. Big shout out to Matt. Just
Yeah.
he's done a really good thing there with that forum and the community he's kind of built there. And I love to go on there and just see the different ideas people come up with and the different builds they do from not just the best of them, because there's some really, really amazing builders out there, but also the new guys. I like to see when the new guys come in and how they react to it,
Yeah.
and then their first post. I love seeing a new guy's first build post. For me, it's almost more influential and more inspiring than watching the top builders a lot of times, and that's just because it reminds me of where I come from and the like the untainted, like raw passion. Like I love that. That's I guess a good way to put it. So and then Facebook I like because it's community. I can jump on Facebook and just holler at anybody at any time. Check out their rigs, see who's doing what. In real time. And I like that.
Yeah. No, I agree. So what you said about the forums totally like made me think about one time I was on, and I haven't been spending enough time on there. Like genuinely, I would love to spend more time on. I just don't have it. I love combing through builds and checking stuff out and getting inspired. But I remember one day I got on and I saw this guy who was making like parts of his truck out of a stop sign, which I like a huge part of his truck was built out of the stop sign. And I was like, man, that is totally me when I started. Like, I was living in my great-grandmother's house. Like, I had the basement was full of rocks, and I was just building things out of anything I could find, like anything. And then I'd go down there, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to put a battery through it, and I'd drive it till the battery was dead, and I'd be like, go back upstairs. Like, it was every day, and I just built from anything I could find. And
embracing the passion, My first build that I threw away, the stinger on it, and people can go back and watch. If anyone wants to actually go back and watch that on my videos, it's not going to be my first video. And I just want to clarify that because I say I started putting these videos up in 2007. But when you go to my channel, you will not see any videos from 2007. They don't start till like a couple years later, right? That's because I pulled down all of my original videos because of copyright stuff, because I got freaked out. I didn't know. And as soon as I got copyright claims or whatever, I thought like I was really going to be in trouble or something. So I pulled all the videos down. But I put them back up, and there's a playlist for it. It's like my classic video playlist or
Right.
something. So just so people know. But the stinger on that first one was some random piece of metal I found in a trash can because I worked at the garbage company at the time. And I was like, oh, that's the right diameter. I was like, I can bend that and make a stinger. So I bent it, and I literally like melted holes through the bumper and like wedged it down in there and used some zip ties and some stuff. And like, it was horrible. But it, to me, is like in my mind now I'm seeing a Jeep with a stinger on it,
Right.
you know? And so I was so excited, you know, game on.
Yeah. So we're talking about like what it was like when we first started and all of that stuff. And so I posed the question to the people out there, like, what did you do when you first started? Did you just go like buy parts and throw a bunch of money at it, or what? Or did you just find stuff? Not necessarily just you, Josh, but like everybody. Like, did you just go find stuff, or what'd you do? Like, post it up. I want to read those comments. Like, I want to know what you did.
Yeah, put them in there. I'd like to
because I was cheap. Like, I made sliders out of cookie sheets that had been cooked on. Like, so,
yeah.
what advice would you give someone just starting out in this hobby? Like, they just bought their first RTR truck, they're ready to run, like they fire it up, they have their battery, and they take off, and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? I saw your channel on YouTube. What's your advice?
My first, okay, this is, I hope this doesn't rub anybody the wrong way, but I'm just gonna say how I feel on this. My first bit of advice to anybody, I don't care who they are, you know, if they've been doing RC since the 80s or they just got into it 2 days ago, don't worry about anything at all. Don't worry about the upgrades. Don't worry about how you're supposed to do it, you know, how it looks compared to other people's. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about none of that. Take it out, put a battery in it, fire it up, drive it. Put like a good 20, 30 hours on it.
Yeah. Glitching out again. Hopefully we come back. Oh,
All right, I'm still here.
There we go.
Sorry. People, it does that every time people start blowing me up. I'm getting messages like crazy. But basically, it's just ignore everything. Don't worry about it. Just stay off Facebook, stay off, you know, the forums, all that stuff. Just go out and drive it. Put mileage on it, just like you would a new car. You buy a new truck, you know, very few people, you know, get rims and a lift put on their truck from the factory, you know, with very few real car people would do that. So it's, you know, you drive it first. You drive it. I can't say that, actually. I take that back because I just watched Casey Curry, I think, put like all kinds of stuff on a brand new JL with no mileage. So some people do. But the point is, just take it and drive it and feel it out, you know, and then after that, instead of going and looking what other people are doing for RC, look at real cars. Watch, like, if you're into Jeeps, go watch videos of real Jeeps. If you're into Toyotas, watch videos of real Toyotas and watch those and pick up on the little things, the type of suspension, right? I see all kinds of, and this isn't, I'm not knocking people, all right? So nobody get upset here, but I see all kinds of Cherokees with coil over rear suspension. You usually don't see that unless it's like a really high dollar build, you know, or like a competitive type build usually. Most of the time, you know, there's, you know, circumstances, but same with like a Toyota. You don't see Toyota pickups with coil over suspension unless they're out like really wheeling them all the time and like it's a competitive rig or something of that nature usually. You're going to see leaf springs in the back on the Jeep. You're going to see, you know, leaves all around on that Toyota. And so the first thing I like to do is make your rig proportionate because none of them from the factory are really that proportionate in my mind. So make it proportionate. Figure out what you want it to be and start making it proportionate. And after you make it proportionate, after you make it look the way you want, get your performance up. Yeah, that's my recommendation. And forget what everybody else is doing, man. It's just a distraction.
All right. I don't think that's going to offend anyone, honestly. Like, everybody has their own approach when they start. I'm a big proponent of take your truck and drive it. and then figure out what you want to do from there. Go read things, look at people's stuff, pay attention to the whole world around you, whatever, find your inspiration and go. But so
Sir.
my question to you here, as we kind of are getting closer to the end here, where do you see our scale community coming or heading in the coming years?
It's a good question. I would say it's definitely going to grow, but I feel like there's a bear trap in the mix at some point, and people don't know what I'm talking about. There's going to be a point where it dips, everything goes, because it's been climbing for so long, you know what I mean? And there's going to be a point where everything just kind of, but it's not going to crash. It's not the end of everything. It's just, it's like a cleansing process, I feel like. And a lot of people that aren't real serious about the hobby or aren't real invested into it or really don't have that deep passion for it might fall off a little bit. But I feel like after that, it's going to continue to climb, and we'll probably hit a level off point before we break into that next, whatever it's going to be, that next level, that next era. I think the next big step is going to be if and when Axial ever decides to drop a hard body and forward motor setup. I think if they did that, it would shake up the entire industry, and it could potentially be that next step for everybody.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
Nice. I'm interested in everybody's opinion. See, I'm a big fan of listen to what everybody says, pay attention to what they say, and then kind of do your thing based off of all the info that you get. So the interviews have been really cool in that aspect because I get everybody's piece. I get everybody's opinion. I get all of those things. So it's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
So second to last question here for you. Do you currently have any sponsors, which we all know you do, and why do you choose to represent those companies?
I have a pretty good list of
like
sponsors, and I'm very, very thankful for that. It's they're going crazy in there right now. Shout out to everybody in the audience, man. You guys are awesome. That's really right. You got a good thing going here, Adam. I appreciate bringing me on. Yeah, it's really cool, man. And I gotta say, for my sponsors, I owe them I owe them the world, man. The sponsors coming through and stepping up and getting behind. It did it again.
I'm like, holy cow! All the love is glitching us out. I so appreciate it, guys. I really do.
It's awesome, man. It is. It's causing to lag. I love it. Big thanks. That's cool. My sponsors, man, it's a really long list, and I can try to. I could probably run through it, man. I don't want to. I owe them that. So,
yeah.
My sponsors have really stepped up to me and gotten behind me and pushed me forward. And with them standing behind me, it's helped me have a lot more influence. And I owe them the world for that. It's just, I never thought in a million years I'd be where I am. And I've looked at it a couple of times, and I am one of, if not, I think, like, I'm up there, probably one of the top, like, the most sponsored guys in the industry. And it's something I never could have dreamed of. And sponsorship's a weird thing. A lot of people like to get it and use it to make themselves feel better, right? And that's not what sponsorship is about at all. And it kind of bums me out when I see that, and I didn't get all of my sponsors because I brag about them. I got my sponsors because they believe, for the most part, they believe in what I'm trying to do for the community. And you'd have to ask them individually, but I believe that's why they stand behind me. And so basically, I'm just going to run them through, man. The first one to ever jump behind me was Cow RC. And big shout out to Heath Meshkow. Cow RC is a maintenance company. They do all kinds of, it's from cleaners to awesome magnetic mats for your pit or your bench or just on the go little mobile ones. They do all kinds of stuff, man. Containers and just they're a really cool company. It's not just for scale. They do stuff for everybody. They sponsor Adam Drake as well. They're an awesome company, and they have a really, really good owner behind it. So the next
Yeah.
one that stepped up to me, and they no longer sponsor me, they're no longer in business, and I left them before they went out of business. But I still want to give them just a quick shout out because they're no longer competing with my current sponsors. So, oh, did it do it again?
No, I'm good. I don't know. Oh, he's gone. He'll be back. All right, so to summarize things, man, like you guys have not stopped with the like button. I dig it. You're awesome. I'm watching all these comments, all the likes. Oh, it's amazing. Anyway, so I'm gonna take this time. Oh, he's back. So I'm gonna bring him in just a second. But I'm gonna take this time to tell you that and be a little bit shout out for me. That right now on my website, VanOrdCustoms.com. If you use the code LIVE when you check out, whatever your order is, it'll take 20% off of your order. And again, I'm trying to bring Josh back in so we can get things fired up and get moving. When he first comes in, it doesn't like to add him in. Additionally, I want to take out a few seconds and talk about Lee Hicks will be on next week. He's hosting the Cherokee Scale Nationals, and I thought it was very timely to get him right before it started. Mike Lohman on the 10th. Crazy cool RC collection, just scale everything. And on the 17th, Eddie Goodridge. If you don't know who he is the guy behind Team Brood Racing. Phenomenal job on motors and electronics, so on and so forth. And again, I'm trying to do two things at once and bring Josh back on. And I don't see him in my stuff right now, unfortunately. And my finger got bored and started acting crazy. We need to work out. Nice. There we go. Add. Bring him back in. Get this thing finished up. But yeah, so check out all those things and what's going on, and then we'll talk a little bit about Josh's sponsors, see what's going on next with him, and we'll go from there. So we're back, and it is.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Am I back? I'm in, right? Okay, cool.
You're in. You're good.
I don't know what happened.
Honestly,
just run with
it. It has not stopped with the like button, so it's all good.
Cool. So, anyways, I was shouting on the sponsors, I think, right? That's where we were.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just say real quick, Cal RC for sure. This one, they're no longer a sponsor of me or anything, but they helped me back in the day to kind of get established a little bit, and that was Novak Racing, nostalgic company. Yeah. They're out of business now, so rest in peace to Novak. But before they went out of business, I actually left them, and I joined up with Holmes Hobbies, and it was probably one of the best moves of my entire career. Holmes Hobbies, if you guys don't follow Holmes Hobbies or don't know who he is, please check them out. It's unbelievable performance in their setups. Their motors are amazing. So just wanted to shout that out. Then let's see. So the second person to really sponsor me other than the Novak was we hit TGN Distributing. And they're out of Southern California. They're really a small hobby shop that also doubles as a distribution center and runs a big online setup. So big shout out to TGN and Mark, everybody over there. Oh man, this is gonna be a long list. I'm gonna try to go through it fast. CKRC, Jason over at CKRC, I love them. They're like family. We'll say Team K&K Hardware, Mike and Amberly. I think they've been in here tonight. Big shout out to them. Mike was on here actually before. Yep, Mike is an amazing man. His family is amazing. His kids are awesome. Love them. They've been a big help. Oh man, this is gonna be rough. Wordy Made's the homie, man. He comes through with all the best metal work for me. Phoenix Design LEDs comes through with some LED lights for me. A-Main is a well-known hobby shop. I mean, they're known worldwide. A-Main's been standing behind me a lot, especially this year. Big shout out to them. Oh man, this is so hard. I've never had to do this live before. And I really don't want to leave anybody out. Big shout out to Axial Racing. They've been a big help along the way. As everyone knows, Scale Wars is an Axial show, so big shout out to Axial. You know what? I'm not leaving nobody out here. We're pulling this up because I'm not I
Do
need my
it.
sponsor list.
You
I
should
need
do
my
it. So
sponsor list.
while you're pulling it up, I want to say a thank you for the whole Scale Wars thing. Like, I chucked the Tri-Van on there as just like a whim. Like, I'm like, maybe someone will like do something with it, and you put it up there, and after that, like, it just went phew. And I never thought it would get the kind of attention it did, but it did.
I'm
And that
glad
was
it
totally
helped out, man.
so it was awesome to go through that process. And so before that, it wasn't like anything really. It was just,
It's funny how, you know, you get the right eyes on your stuff and it spreads like wildfire. There's, you know, and it really nothing to do with me. It's all the subscribers, man. It's
oh yeah,
they're crazy, man. They really are. It's the passion that brews around my channel is pretty intense, and it's only a small part of it is me. You know, the rest of it's
yeah,
everybody else. And I try to tap in, and Scale Wars was an opportunity for me to provide a platform for all of that passion and for everybody to show off what they do. And you know, a lot of people got the wrong idea at first and thought that I was just there to pass judgment on people, and anyone that read the actual post and everything knows, or watched the videos, knows that's not the case. It's
yeah,
For me, it's a spotlight. You know, I'm fortunate enough to have a spotlight, and I can shine it in wherever I feel like, and I feel like shining it back on the community and showing what brought me into it in the first place. You know, and
right,
that's really what it was about, and that's why Axial embraced it the way they did, is because it's not about me. It had nothing to do with me at all. It's about growing the community. And like I was telling you the other night, you know, it's for me, it's the all ships rise with the tide scenario. We grow this industry, we grow this community as a whole. Everybody in it's going to see a little bit of growth, right? Everyone in it's going to see that effect and reap those rewards, whatever it is, whether it's just having more fun or making a living selling parts. You know, it's there's opportunities for everybody to get something out of this industry if we all help each other out. So that's really that's why I did Scale Wars for sure. And I'm going through this list right now, and I honestly I think I did a pretty good job there of getting most of my sponsors. Because I've recently, you know, I stepped away from a company and stuff too, so that's who I thought I was forgetting. And then there's other people that don't sponsor me that I really want to shout out to, and they're kind of like unofficial supporters, you know, real strong ambassadors of ESP. And one of them is James Knight from Knight Customs. James has been a big help. He sent me parts and stuff, but that's not really why. It's the fact that James is passionate, you know, about this as well. Like I know passion when I see it, and he's one of those people that really, really wants to do the best that he can, and I can appreciate that a lot. And he's given me opportunities to use his products and stuff a couple of times, and really hasn't wanted nothing in return. And because of that, you know, obviously I'm not the type to take stuff for free, but I will be giving him some love. So from time to time, you do see me posting about Knight Customs and doing videos on Knight Custom products and things like that. And I'll even go out of my way. Shapeways is another one. Shapeways, who is where James has a lot of his parts made, they work with me too and support the channel. And I always make sure, anytime they give me an opportunity, I make sure I get as much Knight Custom stuff on there as possible to make sure that supports James, and I get a chance to show off his stuff. So there's a few people like that. I'm trying to think of anyone else right now. I've got a lot of subscribers and patrons too. You know, I'd like to shout out. There's two that are in the chat right now. Brandon Catton, I gotta give him some love. Also, Brennan Savage, I believe is his last name. He's a huge supporter on Patreon and just subscriber and loyal follower on all of my social media. Always active and pushing the hobby. He's a great builder. Both of them are great builders. So I gotta give a shout out to those two guys as well. Other than that, I'm drawing a blank. I think I got most of the guys mentioned there. Oh yeah, Scale by Chris. Big shout out to Scale by Chris, man. Scale by Chris has been stepping up and getting behind me lately. SBC, if you guys don't know, he's another 3D printing company. He's been helping me with the ESP anti-spur stuff. That has been extremely helpful. So big shout out to him as well. So I think I got it.
Awesome. So,
and if I forgot anybody, man, I'm so sorry.
Really, my last question. No, you're good. No, when you have that many people who are behind you and helping you, like you're bound to missed something along the way. So don't when you're put on the spot and you don't have it all written down, it's a little difficult.
I should have been ready for that.
It's okay. Uh, what should we expect to see next from you?
The most recent thing that's going to be coming up is flying out to New Orleans here really soon. I was actually supposed to go on my birthday last weekend, but I kind of rescheduled just because I didn't want it to be on my birthday. As fun as that would be, I'm a new dad, and I just, I want to spend my birthday with my family. So,
Yeah.
but I'll be going to New Orleans soon, and I know that may not be of any significance to some folks, but for me, it's a huge, huge thing. It's me making a move at bringing more culture into this industry. There's already a lot of culture into it, but there's a divide, and New Orleans is packed full of culture, man. And so I'm heading down there. My buddy Kenneth is bringing me down. I'm gonna kick it with him. I'm gonna kick it with 0017th Racing. I'm gonna kick it with Currency, aka Spit Andretti. He's a very, very famous rap artist, very, very talented, and he's also a very passionate person when it comes to building models and building RC cars and stuff. So I'm going to go down there, kick it with them. I'm going to film an event. They're bringing me in a special guest. So that'll be something that comes up on the channel.
Yeah.
Then I'm also, my Axial Fest 2017 movie is probably the biggest thing people have been wanting from me lately, and I held it off this year. I didn't do like I normally do. Normally I release it a few months after Axial Fest, but I held it off this time until the hype came around for the next Axial Fest because I wanted to help build up that hype. And so I'm going to be releasing that here really soon, and hopefully it'll get people on their build game, get them, excited. And yeah, for those people that can't go and can't come have fun with us, it'll give them a way to live it out while everyone else is doing it. So that's probably the biggest things. And other than that, just my regulars, man. Holmes Hobbies Motor Control, either on Monday or Tuesday most of the time. Camping with Coleman, usually on Wednesday. Live streams, usually on Friday. Scale Wars on Saturday. And then if you're a Patreon member, you will get Scale Wars a week early, unless I have something going on, which this last week was my birthday, so this week they didn't get it early, but they will be getting it early come again this weekend. So you usually get Scale Wars early, a whole week early, and then you will get another series I just started, which is called Perspective Shift. And really, it's a low-key, just hang out with me in the studio, in the shop, and I talk about tips and tricks and things that I do with my builds or with my editing or whatever the patrons are really wanting to know about. So, and that's what I'm doing all the time, man. And it's fairly consistent. Keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah.
And there's one other thing. There's one other thing, and there's I can't say anything about it, and so I'm sorry, guys. I'm just going to have to drop a tease, but there's a new company starting up, and they have shown big interest in working a brand deal with me, and if we can come to terms, then I will be bringing a new series for them and helping promote their new company, and I'm pretty excited about it. It seems like it's a good thing, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. It could be happening here really soon. And I'll also be at Axial Fest. I'm filming Axial Fest again. Axial actually put me on board to film this year, so I'm busy, man. I'm all over. I'm doing stuff, bro. I'm staying busy.
You sound like it.
And Team KK Hardware. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I saw it in the comments. I want to go to Team KK Hardware, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. I'm trying. I would really like to go and see that for the first time. So I have to give them a shout out. I know they've been in here, and I keep seeing it in the comments, so I had to shout it out.
I'm in the same boat with you with the KNK TTC. I want to go. I'm almost certain that I'm going. I just won't have the whole weekend, unfortunately. But I'm almost positive I'm going, so I'm pretty excited. So hopefully make it out and I'll get to meet you in person. So that would be awesome.
That would be a good opportunity. We could do that.
Yeah. So if you don't have anything else to add, I'll kind of just close you out. And I have to say thanks for being on, Josh. I totally appreciate it. I just love talking to these people who I've been watching their channels. I've been paying attention to their stuff and kind of bringing their stories out to the people who are following this crazy ride that is Live at 945. So.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you bringing me on, and just reaching out to me in the first place, man. It means a lot to me, and you know, yeah, I feel like you're doing a great thing here. You know, you're adding a valuable part, like a valuable asset to the community. You know, and you get another message, but I feel like you're adding a valuable asset to the community, and
Yeah,
it's great, man. You got a great personality. You're really into this,
thank you.
you know. You're passionate, and you're connect people, and that to me is a very important aspect of it. Something else I wanted to say real quick is big shout out to everybody that took the
Yeah,
time to come in here and watch me tonight. I know you guys could have been other places. That means a lot to me as well. And the last thing I want to do, and this is just to help you out, man, I want to do something that I do on my live
yeah,
streams all the time. And I just want to say, you guys,
yeah.
blow up Adam's thing here, all right? Shout out where you're watching it from. Shout out, like, what your favorite RC car is, man. Like, throw it in the comments. Blow up his comments, man. I know you guys are out there. Give him that love. Show him, man. I do this on my live streams, and it's always a great way for me to dip out, man, and just see how many people around the world and where they are, and just see who, you know, it's cool, man. It's a cool way. And then everybody else sees, you know, they're hanging out with people from
Yeah.
all over the world. So, yeah. Other than that, I'll get out of your hair, man. Let you close your show out. Thank you so much for having me, bro. I really
Awesome.
appreciate it. Peace and
Thank
chicken
you,
grease.
Josh. Awesome. I'll talk to you later, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys, Josh is off. Thank you for bearing with us with all of that stuff. I appreciate the infinite number of likes that have gone on the side of that screen tonight. Have been insane. It has paused things. It has slowed the whole thing, but oh my gosh, the support is overwhelming. I truly appreciate it. A couple things I want to talk about, and I'm pulling up my list here so I don't forget anything. Next week, and I know I've covered it a couple times when Josh dipped out, but I want to cover it at the end here like I always do. Next week, Lee Hicks hosting the Cherokee Scale Nationals. We're going to talk a little bit about that, the event, what's going on. I feel like it's pretty timely because that's coming up really quick. Mike Lohman on May 10th. Mike has an incredible scale RC collection, just unbelievable. His stuff is out of this world good. And on the 17th, Eddie Goodrich. I owe a special shout out to Steven Speakman for posting up inside of the Hosted at Live 945 Facebook group. If you're not a member, please join it. That's where the live videos post up. That's where the notifications for events for who is going to be on posts up. Thank you, Steven, for posting up, like, who would you like to see next? Names after names after names. I don't even have to go anywhere other than that thread and pull up names and search for those people and shoot them messages. So I appreciate it, guys. I want to show you the people that you want to see. I want to talk to those people, and I want to share their stories, and that's what I'm doing here. So this is where I become just a tad bit selfish, and I tell you that, everything is 20% off on my website, VanOrdCustoms.com. If you use the code LIVE, L-I-V-E, up until Sunday the 29th at 8 p.m. That's my way of kind of giving back to the people who watch the show. Go in, check it out. If you don't want to buy anything, don't buy anything. That's cool with me. If you do, take advantage of the 20% off just because you caught the show. Additionally, check out my Facebook. Currently, there's a giveaway going on with talking about the next background display. We did the Scale Garage thing. I dig it. It's awesome, but I want to see where you guys want to go next. So get involved in that and possibly win yourself an entire backdrop for free, shipped to your door, and all that good stuff. Last things, check out my Instagram, VanOrd_Customs. There's a lot of good stuff going on over there. And join this group. If you're not a member of this group, join the group. If you want to catch the videos live, this is the way to do it. So again, I thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you all next week on Live at 9:45 with Lee Hicks. So have a good night, everybody.